So I've rotated the crank another 360 degrees, and now the left hand side cylinder is in top dead center of the exhaust stroke. That's what the manual calls for. And the way to check this is, if we look at the sprockets on the camshafts, there should be some marks indicating that we're at the right position. Starting by the intake one, as you can see, in the rear of the sprocket you can see the eye. The mark is lining up with the top face of the cylinder head. And if we look at the sprocket on the exhaust side, maybe from here, I'll just put you down. Here there's also markings, 3. There's a line here indicating we're horizontal with the top of the engine. There's also one on the front side of the sprocket. I don't think you can see it, but it's here. And then there's a third mark, which is this. There's a punch mark here. Let me get you around. So next to that bolt, number 10, you can see a little punch mark. So now the cams are in the position ready to be removed. So the next step for the removal of the camshafts is to actually remove the cam chain tensioner. So the manual states to first remove the bolt in the middle and then evenly unscrew these 2 Allen bolts. So we're going to try that. If I can find my wrench. This. So this is a 10mm socket. So that comes apart quite easily. And there's supposed to be, there's a washer underneath, so I'm probably gonna replace that when I get back to the installation. So here you can see I think it's an aluminum washer. And now we have to evenly unscrew these 2. And apparently the force of the spring will push out the tensioner, so it's probably wise to keep your hands behind it. So I just took the 2 bolts out, and now it should just slide out, I guess. You can hear the tension dropping in the chain, that's alright. And here it is. So now the next step is to actually remove the intake camshaft. It's gonna be these 6 bolts. I think it's, yeah, they have it's socket 8. So the manual states to do this very gently and work from the outside inwards, and just do them a few turns at a time so you don't actually warp this holder, because it's aluminum and you don't want to do that. So I have no idea how tight these are. Quite tight. So that's just half a turn, something like that. Oh, that's very handy if I put my hand in front of the camera. So I plugged off the 2 spark plug hole covers with a rag that is not easily missed. You don't want to forget those. And I I just unscrewed all the bolts from the holder, and I'm just gonna try to leave them in there and gingy carefully remove the holder. There we go. Now there should be some what do you call those things? Dowel pins. It doesn't really matter what side they stay on. Oh, they're in the journal, so that's alright. Alright, now I'm gonna do the exhaust camshaft. So all the bolts are loose. And you can just leave those in here, because they're pretty long and they won't fall out. This one is still tight. So now I'm just gonna lift this. Out of the way carefully. And just put them aside so we can inspect those later. Alright, I'm gonna try to lift it out. There it comes. Very carefully. Now I'm gonna put the chain. I know it's timed way off right now, it's just so it won't fall in. So here's the exhaust valve shaft, camshaft. I'm not an expert on judging the wear patterns, but as far as I can see, there's no what do you call that? Scoring marks. There's no pitting either, so I think this is alright.